Welcome to another edition of Whiskey, Games, and Nerd Stuff. Today's whiskey is Blanton's, and today's game is going to be Mind Space. It is an all-play game designed by Neo Shimura. I do apologize if I say that name incorrectly. Let's go ahead and pour some whiskey, and let's go ahead and take a sip. Oh, I love how this smells. Damn, that's so good. Mindspace is an amazing roll and write game that uses a conveyor belt system where you're going to go ahead and draw some polygonal shapes. The game comes with everything you're going to see here. You're going to have your dice, your dry erase markers, your playing board, which is going to be your flat brain. You've got your emotions that are going to be coming into play, your dice that'll correspond to the emotions and the markers, and a set of cards that we'll fill out in a conveyor belt system as we go along. So this is really cool. So what will happen is each color represents something different. Orange is going to represent friendship, and that will score a certain way. Purple will represent hobbies. That'll score a certain way. Green will represent finances. That scores a certain way. Pink is romance. That scores a certain way. Blue is self-improvement. That scores a certain way. And then black will have a meaning as well. But I'm going to go ahead and set this up, and then we'll go ahead and talk about it. Before I do, what will happen is we were going to just mix up these C's. Pick one at random. You set those off to the side. Mix up the B's. Pick one at random. Set it to the side. Same with our A's. And what's going to happen is this is going to be some side. Think of these as side things that we're trying to do. Side goals, side objectives, however you want to word that. And the only difference between the solo version of this and the multi-person version of this is in the solo version, after so many rounds, you're going to flip this over. So when it's on one side, the first person to get this particular goal, like say for example for minimalism, the goal is to use 4 space-sided shapes, the same or different 4 times. The first person would get the 7 points. The next person would get the 4 points. This one is Passion Project. At least one purple space in each section of the brain. The first person to do that would get 9 points. The second person would get 5 points. This one is Sympathy. Fill the 10 spaces around the 1x gray matter area. The first person would get 7 points. The second person would get 4 points. In the solo player game, what's going to happen is after so many turns, you will go ahead and flip this over. So if you do meet those requirements, you're only getting the second score as opposed to always getting that high score. All right, so we're going to go ahead and set this up. So you're going to take these core cards and you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what's going to happen is let's go ahead and lay these up. We have our score in place. Let us go ahead and take a sip of this amazing whiskey. All right, so we're going to roll these dice. So we had to do a little editing there and start over because I realized after about 5 minutes into this, I made a mistake that I always make it initially. So that's why you're going to see this whiskey bottle down a little bit. Let's go ahead and take a sip. So we've got this laid out. We've got our objective cards. We've got our conveyor belt cards. We've got our scoreboard, our brain, our markers, and our dice. So the first thing we do is go ahead and roll the dice. We will place the dice in accordance with the number that they are in the conveyor belt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We will go ahead and start. I'm going to go ahead and start with the green. And when you start, you can actually go anywhere you want. Actually, we're going to start with orange. And we will go ahead and go right here. So orange is a 4 spot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, every time we mark an orange, we want to cross that off because when we score, we're going to get the points allotted to what happens in here. Plus, there's some stuff that you get when you can get orange and purple together. So what will happen is after we do our first round, we move these over. This flips over, and we roll the dice again. And the only difference between a solo play and a multiplayer version of this is in the solo play, these cards will flip over after a certain number of rounds. So hopefully I remember to do this on turn 5. The other thing let's hope I remember to do is you cannot have the same colors touching each other. So we went ahead and rolled this. Now I'm going to try and still go with the 4 if I can to get this minimalism, which I can't, so we're not going to get the 4. So then we will go, let's go ahead and pick blue. And I'm going to go ahead and try and do blue here. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, like that. So I got 3, 1, and 1. Okay. So now the good thing about blue is every time you mark off a blue, we get to cross off that, and when we do the scoring system, that's what's going to come into play. So if you can get all your blues done, you're not going to get any minus points. If you can get all your oranges, you're going to get plus points. But everything kind of balances out. So when we do the scoring, and we kind of talk about it later on, this will be different things that will come into play. But let's go ahead and take a sip. Man, that Blanton's is so good. We'll roll our dice. All right, so we are on turn 2. We don't have any 4s to go with this. We could try and go with one in the purple in each one, or we can try and fill this one. Let's go ahead and try the purple in each section. You know what? No. Let us go ahead and do a green. So we're going to do a green, and this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we will fill this in. And one of the reasons you want to do the green when you can is for every time you do a green, you get to fill in one of these that'll give you money, which will let you do something later on. So, and that'll come into play. Let's go ahead and move our conveyor belt. Everything shifts down. We are now on turn 4. All right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, the thing about 6 is you can actually do any color on this one when you want to. Let's see. We want to do... Let's try and do a blue if we can. Just so we don't have to worry about the minus points later on. And I think if we turn this over that way... Yeah, that works. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and 1. Now, my recollection of the rules are diagonal doesn't count as touching. You just can't be next to it. So if somebody sees that in the rules they did that wrong, let me know. But that was my interpretation, is if it was diagonal, it doesn't count as touching. So let's go ahead and move these down. And we are now on turn 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is turn 5. We will roll the dice. 4, 5, 6, and 2. So let's see what we want to do. We're not even close to doing the Passion Project. We're not quite close to this one, but we could get there, potentially. But I want to get a blue, if we can, to mark one of these off. We do have 2 blues. I forgot to mark this one off on the one we just did. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in a 2er for the blue. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in these 2, which will mark that off, which will help us in the score. So this is the end of turn 5, and if you're playing solo, what'll happen is at the end of turn 5, we were going to roll a dice. So a 6 is we flip over card C. That means we're not going to get the max points in this. That means we can only get the 4 points when this is done. So when we get 4 spaces, or 4 shapes that are 4 spaces, which right now we've got 1, 2, 3, we will get the 4 points. So we will go ahead and move our conveyor belt down. We will shake. There's 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, and we are going to go ahead and open this up to get a little bit more. This is such a great whiskey, and I love how the bottle looks. Let's go ahead and take a sip. Oh, I love that smell. Okay, let's try and get an orange if we can. So we want a 5 orange. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. Where can we go? Where would be a good 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's a good one. So we will go this way. We will mark that off. And now we are on turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 2 more turns before we need to roll this dice. This switches down. We flip that over. We will roll again. 5, 4, 5, 2. All right, what do we want to do? Let's see if we can go to a 4 slot. And if we can get 4s and purple, if we can get orange and purples next to each other, that's a good thing. So I'm going to see if we can get a purple. Where can we put this purple that would be next to an orange? And I think we can do it like this. So here we go. So we will go ahead and grab this purple and do that. Now the purple doesn't come very well on this for some reason. I've noticed that all the other colors, as you can tell, pop. But for some reason, that purple one just doesn't pop very well. So that's really my only complaint about this game. So let's look at our minimalism. We need four spaces. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. So what's going to happen is C we've accomplished. So on C, we're going to get 4 points. Now, let's see what turn we're on. Just to keep track, we're on turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So after the next turn, we will go ahead and roll and flip over one of these. And if you're playing with multiple players, it would be whoever gets it first. So let's go ahead and roll these dice. And we've got 2, 3, 4, and 6. All right, so what are we going to do? If we can get some blue, we don't have to worry about the minus points. If we can get some orange, we don't have to worry. We can actually get some extra points. So is there an orange that would make sense for us on this one? And I do think there is. So let's go ahead and do this orange. So it's 4 over and 1 up. So we're going to do 4 over and 1 up. And we get to mark that off. So now we have finished turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now what happens is we are going to roll over another dice. And after turn 8, you're going to flip over. Even is going to be one card, and odd's the other one. So we're going to do even, odd. So we will flip that over. And now we can only get the 4 points on this one when this is done. And we'll go ahead and roll this over again. And let us roll our dice one more time. So we got some good choices on this one. So let's take a look. All right, so what do we want to do? We do want to get a blue, because then we don't have to worry about any minus points.
However, if we can snip in another orange, we're going to get some points on here. So I think what we do is we go with the blue or the orange. Now, because of the passion project, if we can get one purple in each section, we will get some points. However, there are more sections left to fill in purple than there are dice rolls. So I think this one we're just going to have to give up on. The other one is fill in the 10 spaces around the 2x1 gray matter. This is the only 2x1 gray matter, so we would need to fill in these spaces around it, which we could do. And I think, depending on how we play this, that might be a way to go. Nope, we can't go that way. However, we could do this. So this is, no, we can't, because the blue, we can't have the blue connect to the blue. All right, so we're kind of stuck on this one because we've got orange and blue here. We really need a different color, but we just don't have the spaces for it. I'm going to go ahead and put us over here and do this 4 spot to give us some room to move in here, because I think I kind of put us in a corner on this one. So let us go ahead and run this conveyor belt down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I really, really enjoy this game. Let me go ahead and take a sip. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and do the blue. And I'm going to do the blue right here to get that 4 knocked out. And to mark off that, because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're working on not getting any of the minus points for the blue. All right, and let's see what turn we're on real quick, just to double check. We've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. After this turn, this card will flip over. All right, let's see where we're at. Oop, that was a 3. All right, so purple will be perfect right here. So let's go ahead and do a purple right here. That was our 11th turn. So this last one flips over and we have 1 turn left. So this last conveyor belt goes through. This will be our final turn. All right, we've got a few choices here. So let's take a look on our scoring. So if we do an orange, we're going to get some extra points. So if we can, we want to do this orange. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to go with the orange right now, just to make it easy. So we're going to go ahead and mark that off. We will mark that. Now we're going to go ahead and do the score. So let's go ahead and take a sip. And this is the part where I might mess up. So please, in the comment section, if I do something wrong, let me know. So the first thing we're going to do is, did we fill out everything in a particular section of the brain? So in the section of the brains, you can see it's outlined all in black. And you will get on the scoreboard, you've got the 5 sections of the brain that'll give you points. And unfortunately, I think the only section of the brain that we filled out was that middle section. So we're only going to get 5 points for that. Then the next part of the scoring is you're going to do your objectives. So objective A, we did not complete. Objective B, we did not complete. But objective C, we did. So we will get those 4 points. Then what's going to happen is we are going to score for purple. And what purple says is, end of game. Score 2 points for each purple space that is adjacent to an orange space. So what we want to do is we want to look at the purple and the orange and how many spaces are adjacent. We've got 1, 2, 3, and that's it. So I think it's 1, 2, 3. So that's going to give us 6. Then for orange, the scoring is going to be every time you draw an orange shape, cross off the leftmost box in the orange section of your scoreboard. End of game. Score points equal to the number that is not crossed off. So let's double check our orange spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. We marked off 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are going to get equal to the leftmost number that is not crossed off. So we got 15 points there. Now we go to purple. So purple, how purple was going to score, or pink, sorry, that's pink. How pink is going to score, and I don't think we did any pinks. So pink is going to be a 0. But this is how pink would have scored. End of game. For each pink shape you draw, find every instance of that shape drawn in a non-pink color. Score 1 point per space in those matching non-pink shapes. But we didn't do any pink, so that doesn't matter. Now blue. Blue is every time basically you're marking it off, and that's what it's going to be, the minus. So this is going to be a -4. Empty spaces in a brain section with the most. So here's where we're going to spend some of our money. So how this is going to work is we're going to look at the most empty spaces in a section, and you have to count that many, and that's going to be your minus. Now, I can already tell off the top this is going to be the most. So I'm going to use 2 of my money to fill in 2 of these spaces. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is what we've got as a minus.
So then what's going to happen is we were going to go ahead and score this.
So we've got 5 plus 4, which is 9. 9 plus 6 is 15. 15 plus 15 is 30. 30 minus 10 is 20. So let's go ahead and double check that we scored this right. We've got 9 plus 6 is 15. 15 and 15 is 30. Minus 10, because we're going to have the -4, and the -6 is 20. And that's our score right there.
I really, really enjoy this game. I don't think that I played a very good game in this particular one because I was explaining it and enjoying this amazing whiskey as we do. And I do feel like I'm going to find at least 1 or 2 things that I've done wrong. And usually the things that I'll find that most people do wrong on this is you have the same colors next to each other, or sometimes you draw an extra space. But this is an amazing game. It's definitely one of my top 10 favorite games right now. Would really love to hear in the comment section what your thoughts are on Mindspace and Blanton's whiskey. And if I did anything wrong in the playthrough, please let me know. I do appreciate everybody taking the time to like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And until next time, folks, cheers.